Hi everyone. Today, since it's such a rainy day and it's cold, I did do my outside chores and I did go fertilize my elderberries, but this little thing and this is going to be my companion for a while. This is an old nightgown. I made it, gosh, probably 10 years ago, and I love it, but it's wore out. So I'm going to rip it out. I cannot find the nightgown that I took apart to use for a pattern. So I'm going to rip it all out and use it as a pattern to make another one, maybe two. That way I won't have to do this again for a while, if ever. But anyway, that's going to be my project for today. I've got my light so that I can see what I'm doing. Maybe. Got my granny glasses in case I need those, which is a possibility. And I'm going to get started ripping this out. I even contemplating maybe just cutting it apart because I can add the seam allowances to it, which will probably be a lot less work. So that may be what I do. But I will have to iron everything too, so that I get it flat and straight. And I think that's what I'm going to do, because I don't want to rip. I hate ripping out. That's not going to be my friend today. My scissors are going to be my friend today. Okay. It's just a square neck. So, because it's big. I like big. So I'm going to cut it apart right on the very seam. I'll bring you up closer. Cut right along the seam. And I will know to add at least a ½ inch all the way around to everything for my seam allowance. Okay, that was the front. This is the back. I don't know why I thought I was going to rip it out. That was crazy. Especially when it's as worn as it is, and there was no intention of putting it back together. So, okay. That was the back. I'm going to put a pin in the back. I'll put a pin in the front. I don't have to do any adjusting, because this one fits perfect. It's pretty much a granny gown. Past the knees. It's what I like to sleep in. This one is made out of an old sheet. And the next ones will be made out of either old sheets, old curtains. I have some in mind. This is terrible. Can't stay lined up with the seam. Okay. This little piece. There we go. Alright, we got my fabric folded, ironed and folded, and I've got to put this on the fold and pin it. Pin cushion. stick a pin ever so often on this part, just to make sure it stays where it's supposed to. Okay, there's one piece. This little doily placemat, I don't really know. It's just pretty. This is going to be my pockets. Pockets. 2 of them. So, you see it's got 4 of these. And instead of cutting it here and only having 1 pretty thing, I'm going to cut it here. And that way I have 2 pretty things on each pocket. Let me set up and I'll mark it and cut it in half. Let's see. I did iron it. It's got little flowers right here, and I'm going to center it on those flowers. And I will mark it with my pencil. Cut it in half. Now I'm going to pleat it and pin it. It won't be pleated yet. It'll just be pinned pleated. Okay, define center, fold it in half. Do a finger press. And then when you open it, you'll have a crease. Oh, you can't see that. You can see that little crease right there. There's one up there too. So that's my center. But this is awfully wide for a pocket. So I'm going to go out about 1 inch and make a pleat. Wait. This one, a pleat on the center line. I have both pockets pinned and all their little pleats. And now it's time to break out the sewing machine. Okay, this is a, I don't know, light jacket that I bought just for the lace. I think I gave 50 cents for it. Maybe. So I'm going to take the lace off of it. Because it is Battenberg lace. Just like the other deals that I made the pockets out of. So I'm going to take this off. I'm not going to rip it out. I'm going to cut it off with the scissors. Because it's got a factory edge here. See? And I'm just going to cut it right along there. And cut it off. Pretty sure this is linen. It probably wasn't a cheap little thing to buy. New. But anyway, I'm going to do that because I'm going to use this around the bottom of the nightgown. Okay. There's all the lace off that little jacket thing. Off around the collar, around the lapels, around the bottom. And these are around the sleeves. Which they're about 6 inches long. Double that. They're about a foot long. And this is way more than enough to do around the bottom of the nightgown. Well, that's 14 inches. We'll just go with that. Alright, there's both pockets. Yay. Both pockets are on. Alright, this is the front yoke and straps. And I will show you how I'm going to sew them together where there's seams. Okay. I'm going to sew here and here. Okay, and then I'll turn it right together. And I snip this corner. And see how this corner will give now? Okay, and I'm going to turn this inside out. And because it is a big piece, and I have to do a lot of finish and edge sewing, I am going to take this to the ironing board and press it out before I make those finished seams. Actually, the finished seams won't happen until I attach the front and the back. But I am going to take it and go press it. But see these corners now? They're flat. That's what snipping that corner does. Let's do this. We'll do it like the patterns have. We'll make the little notch. Okay. There. That marks my center. Now I'm going to do the back the same way. Okay. This is the under the arm. This is, I don't know, back or front, doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and hem this with a tiny little hem before I put the front and the back yoke on. So that tiny little hem so that I don't have to try to do that after it's together. Almost there. This is my front. I've got it gathered. My center mark. I only need one layer. My center mark's right there. And I'm going to pin it. Then I want this piece. I'm going to have to take a little bit out. Okay, we won't even talk about how long it took me to thread that needle. And I can see, I just couldn't get the thread through the hole. Okay, let's start my whip stitch. Hide my knot. Take my whip stitch right here. Okay, this is the shoulder. This is the back. This is the front. So, I'm going to take this, fold it under for the seam allowance. Try to make it even. Do a little finger press on it. And then I'm going to slide the back one up in there about a 1/2 inch. And then, now my pins. I'll pin it. That one in straight. It's not one to cooperate, but it's just because of those seams. I'll stretch it out and make it be flat. Then I will bring it to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew right along the very edge. So far, there's the pockets, and there's the top. So now I'm going to work on putting the lace around the bottom. I'm going to sew this lace across the front on the bodice. Okay, this is the bottom. Got the lace sewed on it. Got the lace sewed on the top. Pockets are done. It's finished. I will get a hanger and hang it up and do a final show the nightgown. There it is. I ran it through the wash machine and the dryer. It's a little wrinkled. I didn't iron it again. It's not going to matter. It's going to be slept in. But there are the little pouch pockets. I did do a little fancy stitch around the neckline. But there it is. Y'all, this thing, the whole thing, might have cost me $2. Maybe. All of it was thrift store stuff. Thanks for coming along with me on my little nightgown sewing. I still have one more to go. I won't video it because it's going to be pretty much the same thing, except it's going to be white instead of off-white. But thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it.